Praise the Lord, everybody. Have you got your Bibles? I'm not sure if that was an amen or a hey man. Amen. All right. Well, it's wonderful seeing everybody out this evening. Our Bible class is going to pick up where we left off last week, talking about the carnal saint versus the spiritual saint. And if you would turn with me in your Bibles, I think we left off last week about the people of Sodom being sinners, wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And how a lot of times we want to categorize the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah as homosexuality, where the scripture is pretty clear about what it was. There was 7 things that God punished them for. And if I just might say this as a sidebar, I think we live in a country that gives us freedoms that you would be hard-pressed to find anywhere else in the world. We live in a country that allows us to speak our minds, that allows us to worship God any way we want to, as long as we're not violating someone else's rights. We can read any literature that we want to read, and we can talk to anybody that we want to talk to. And because of our freedom, I think we have become a lot more like Sodom than many people would like to believe. We are steeped in pride. We elevate ourselves above our true selves. We act like we're such a great Christian country, and it may have been founded on some of the principles that are in the Bible, but we don't have Christian leaders running this country, because the Bible says, and this is something, if I can throw this in too, they were first called Christians at Antioch. Isn't that what the Bible says? Who called them Christians? The people of Antioch called them Christians. The Christians did not call themselves Christians. But we like to go around telling folks, yeah, I'm a Christian. Folks ought to be able to say that about you without you having to tell them that. That your attitude and your behavior is like that of Jesus. So I think sometimes we're busy trying to persuade people that we're Christian instead of living like Christians. But we have pride. We have fullness of bread. We got more food. We got so much food that we throw food away. And I'm not saying this to criticize my wife. She'll go through the refrigerator and start looking at dates. This is August the 9th, and it's going to expire on the 10th. August the 9th, and it's going to expire on the 9th. Trash. She'll throw food away just because it says it's past the sell-by date. I try to help her understand sell-by does not mean it's expired, but she's not having any part of that. Now, there's only one thing that I know of. When it says it expires on the 9th, milk starts to expire and get that little tangy taste to it. Milk expires exactly when they say it's going to expire. You don't get to go a week past on milk and it still tastes okay. Yeah, this is all right. It's not like that. That's the only food I know of that spoils right on time. Everything else, I've seen people throw away cheese because it's expired. Said, cheese ain't nothing but molded milk anyway. What are you throwing it away for? Scrape the green off of it and go on. We have so much. We can just throw away food. If we were starving, my wife wouldn't care what the expiration date said. She'd be eating it. But see, we ain't hungry enough. We've got an abundance. Our country is capable of producing so much food that our government pays farmers to not grow food. That's a shame. We can grow so much corn and so much wheat that they will tell them, if you don't grow on this many acres of your farm, we will pay you as if you grew it. Because we want to keep the price of food at a certain level. It's called artificial inflation. We have a good number of people on our population that are getting paid to sit home on their couch and watch TV. Good number. There are some people who deserve to be on government assistance. They cannot, they either do not have the mental ability to get a job or the physical ability to get a job. And I think it's wonderful that in this country, if you are incapable of taking care of yourself, we will help you. I think the churches should do more. It shouldn't be just Uncle Sam doing it. The churches should do more to help those in their midst that cannot take care of themselves. I think it should be like that too. But you can sit at home and play video games, get up and run down to the grocery store and get you another Red Bull and come on back home. You don't need to be on welfare. You need to be out getting you a job somewhere. All right, I just want to be fair about this. I know that there are some who really need it. It's a necessity. We got a whole lot of folks that don't want to do nothing, taking advantage of the system. We have that. And then we'll step over homeless people. There was a case, and then I'm going to get to the lesson. There was a case in New York City. I saw it on 60 Minutes. A woman came up and saw another woman homeless. She threw some money at her. The woman picked it back up and threw it back at the woman. She had her locked up in a mental institution because she called the police on her and said she assaulted me, she threw money at me, and the woman said she threw money at me. I just threw it back. She said, you got to be crazy to not want somebody's money. Something's wrong with her. So they locked her up for 10 days observation. She sued the state. What they didn't realize was she was an attorney that just didn't want to be a part of the system anymore. She didn't want anybody's money. She argued her case and said, I threw the money back at her because she endangered my life. If you have an excessive amount of money and you live on the streets, other homeless people will kill you for it. So by her throwing money at me, told other people I had money, and I didn't ask her for it. Told other people that I have money, she endangered my life. And then you locked me up and said, I'm crazy for defending my life. She won. Yes. She said, I saw her interview. She said, what they didn't realize was I didn't want to be a part of the game anymore. I'm not crazy and I'm not dumb. I just didn't want what they had. So when they locked me up, this is what they do to people all the time. They'll lock them up, and if they don't cooperate, well, they must be crazy. Put them in the institution for 10 days and give them some medication. She said, oh, they put me through the ringer because they wanted to make sure that I was crazy, but I'm not. We have folks that will walk over people in need and won't help them. My whole point to this is these are the exact same things that Sodom and Gomorrah had. They simply wouldn't do anything except for pleasure for themselves. Now, I want to get back to Abraham because I think he is a wonderful example of how a person can be spiritual minded, how a person can have such a relationship with God that even Abraham even disobeyed what God asked him to do and was still blessed in the midst of it. If you go back to the book of Genesis, God asked Abraham for 3 things, and in return, God promises Abraham 7 things. And God has either completely fulfilled all of his side or is in the process of fulfilling it. Genesis chapter 12 and verse number 2 and 3. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. He said, I will make of thee a great nation. And there have been many countries that have tried to commit genocide on the children of Israel, and none have succeeded. They have sought many times. Because our thoughts don't, unless you're a historian, we don't go back too far, historically speaking. So we think about Germany trying to commit genocide with the Jews. They weren't the first, and they didn't kill the most. They were just one in a number to have tried to wipe out Israel. Are they still here? Yes, because God said, I'll make you a great nation. And he's done it. He also said, I will bless thee. Well, that's the reason why some have tried to kill Jews. Because wherever they go, they seem to land on their feet running. At one time, being a smith was a bad thing. It was looked down upon. A coppersmith, a goldsmith, a silversmith. And because it was dirty work and dangerous work, they made the Jews do it. And they come up on top with a whole bunch of gold and silver. I don't know how they did it. God had something to do with it. They got involved with jewelry. Didn't nobody want to make rings and pendants and things like that. They got rich selling jewelry. They told them they couldn't do anything except be cleaners, dry cleaners, hem up people's clothes, hard, dirty work. They come up on top with that. Shoemakers, they come up on top with that. Whatever they did, they would come up on top. And after they would get to be so rich doing it, the country would become offended, or the people in the country would be offended, and they try to kill them all and take their stuff from them. But God said, I will bless thee. When Abraham left Egypt, the Bible says he was very rich. God blessed him and blessed his seed. He said, I will make thy name great. I think 2 weeks ago we were talking about how in the book of Genesis, Nimrod said, I'll make a name. Let us make a name for ourselves. But God said to Abraham, I'll make your name great. Does anybody know too much about Nimrod? How about the people that were at the Tower of Babel? Do we know much about them? And yet the 3 major religions in the world all claim Abraham as their father. The Christians do, Judaism does, and the Muslims do. The Muslims say that Abraham, Ishmael. The Jews say Abraham and Isaac. So they claim a different branch on the tree than the Jews do. And the Christians say We, by faith, are the children of Abraham. The Bible tells us that. We are the children of Abraham by faith. All three major religions claim him. Did God make his name great? That man's been dead so long. How many knows how long Abraham's been dead? He's been dead so long, we don't know how long he's been dead. And yet, the three main religions in the world claim him as their father. Then he tells him, thou shalt be a blessing. Go to Genesis chapter 30. Genesis chapter 30 and verse 27, it says, and Laban said unto him. Now this is Laban talking to Jacob. Jacob's about to leave. I've worked my 14 years. I got my 2 wives, and I'm ready to go. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry I, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me, for it was little which thou hadst when I came. And it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house also? So I need to have my own place now. Now here's the thing. Laban, his uncle, had enough sense to know, as long as he's here, I'm blessed. Now, how many here have faith? This is not a trick question. It's not. We have faith. We are saved by faith. If you got the Holy Ghost, you got it because of faith. All right. And if you watch the preachers on television and listen to them on the radio, they'll tell you, if you want a new car, you need to have faith. If you want a new job, you got to have faith. If you want more money, you got to have faith. Don't have faith that you're going to make more money, that you're going to get a nice boss. Have faith that you're going to be the boss. I mean, they go through all of this kind of stuff, trying to persuade people, you got to have more faith. But how many people have faith that I'm a blessing wherever I go? And my attitude is so good, my work ethic is so good, that I am a blessing. And the company knows, since you've been here, we've been doing better. Any amens? It should be. We steady going in trying to take over the business instead of just being a blessing to the business. Because he was a spiritual person, he was a blessing wherever he went. Now, I want you to know something. When God is blessing you, there will be hangers-on. There will be carnal people trying to ride your coattail. There will. They'll see that God is blessing you. Well, I want some of that too. They're not interested in living right. They're interested in getting what you got. I understand here in Genesis, when the Lord is telling Abraham this, I know that the natural blessing that God promises to him does not apply to the church. I'm not trying to go back and get an Old Testament promise that God made to Abraham and try to make it be something that God has given to the church, because it isn't. He blessed them physically, worldly, with the things this world has to give. God blessed them to have, and many of them are rich. Many have money. But he blessed us. Peter said he has blessed us with all spiritual blessings. It shouldn't be saints walking around depressed. We have been blessed with all spiritual blessings. It shouldn't be every time we see each other in the street, it's woe is me. I've been blessed with all spiritual blessings. It ought to be like I heard, I don't know this to be a fact, on Golden Girls, the two actresses, B. Arthur and Betty White, did not get along with each other. B. Arthur did not like Betty White because she said she was too happy all the time. Now, ain't that sad? Now, again, I don't know this to be a fact. I've just heard this, that they had a disagreement and did not get along with each other at all because she was just too bubbly all the time, and that got on her nerves. God has blessed us, and I'm not bubbly all the time, but when was the last time you sat down and talked with me and it was like, yeah, everything just seemed to be going wrong? You ever watch Winnie the Pooh? You know, Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh? Everything was bad to Eeyore. How are you doing today? Oh, I don't know. That's the way some saints are. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be that every time somebody sees you, it's, yeah. Just pray for me. The Lord knows what I'm going through. I have blessed you with all spiritual blessings. I have been out to eat before and wasn't hungry. And my wife ordered what she wanted to get. She asked me if I wanted anything. I told her nope. Food come back. The way she was munching on it, it's like, I need to have some. I started to get some. She's like, you said you didn't want anything. Yeah, but that was before you started eating it and making it look so good. You know how folks do. You know, they got French fry grease running down their hand and licking their fingers and carrying on. It's like, whoa, that's the way it ought to be with the Spirit. We should be so excited about it and so happy about what God has done that other people that might say, I don't want that. But then after they watch you for a little bit, it's like, you know what? I want what they got. It should be like that. You know why? Because we've been blessed with all spiritual blessings. But don't be shocked when folks that don't want to live right start to want to hang around you because things are going your way. Because when you are doing like you should do, God blesses. He does. He don't just give you money. I'll tell you what's worth more than money. Peace of mind. It really is. There are rich people that kill themselves because they're so dissatisfied with life. Peace of mind is worth some change. I try to tell some of the young folks this. You know, sometimes I got an opportunity for a good job. Like, okay, what's wrong with the one you're leaving? Well, this one's going to pay more money. I said, but wait now, you need to consider this because money isn't everything. Sometimes it's important to be able to just get up and walk away when an emergency comes up and you not be penalized for it. I had a job and I wasn't making good money. And I got an offer to go someplace that was making more than double what I was earning. I turned them down. You know why? Because I knew I could come and go as I pleased. No questions asked. They didn't bother me. I did my job like I was supposed to, but I had earned the confidence of the owner of the company. He knew anything he asked, I did it. He knew that I would spend as much time as necessary to get the job done. I was salaried too. That's my wife. Many a night she was frustrated with me because I'm coming home at 8, 9 o'clock in the evening and getting up and going to work at 7 in the morning. And I'm still making the same amount of money. But the man knew that if he put me on the task, I would complete it. And after a while, I would tell him, I got an emergency. I can't come in. Don't worry about it. Just make it up. And after a while, it wasn't too long. And when I say not too long, I mean a year or so. It took him time to learn my way of doing things. But after a few years, he said, don't come back and ask me that no more. I trust you. If you can't be here, just, you know what you need to get done. Just do it when you can. I trust you. I didn't even have to go back and ask anymore. I would go and ask, can I have one of these? They're getting ready to throw away a bunch of cameras, digital cameras. Can I take one of my grandchildren? You don't have to ask that. You know we're going to throw them away. Take what you want. At one point, they donated 9 laptops to the church for our Sunday school children. He said, go in there. We're getting ready to replace all of our laptops. Go in there and pick the best that we've got and take them and give them to the kids at your church. You know, that was worth something. I didn't go to work and have to worry about somebody standing over my shoulder. Yeah, I'm making good money, but I'm earning it because you bother me all the time. It wasn't like that. It means something. So there are some things in life that are far more important than just having more money. And when you are faithful to God, He is faithful to you. God knows when your attitude is, I'm coming every time the door is open, I'm there because I'm looking for that big paycheck. He knows that. He also knows when you're faithful because you just love Him. I want to do something for God because I know what He has done for me. I did that yesterday. Y'all don't know how sick I was yesterday. Honestly, I thought I was going to die. I'm laying on the floor and asking God to please help me. I'm telling you, I was in so much pain I threw up from the pain. Not because of something I ate bad, but because it was hurting so bad. I thought I was going to pass out. I have not hurt like that in my life ever. And I just kept on, Lord, please help me. Please, please help me. And after a while, it started to ease up. After about an hour, it started to ease up. Sweat running off of me. I got up, went and got in the bed. I finally could get to the bed. I went and laid down, and I couldn't even sleep. I was still hurting, but it was not hurting like it had been. It had eased off, and I was like, Lord, I just thank you. Just this little relief is good enough for me. 5 o'clock come around, my wife come in. She said, just lay in the bed and rest. I laid there and I thought, Lord, you've been mighty good to me. I asked you to help me. It wasn't instant, but you helped me. Earlier today, I didn't think I was going to make it to this night. I'm going to church. I got up and got dressed. Anna asked me, are you going to teach? I said, no, because my stomach still wasn't, was still not feeling good. I said, nope, I'm not going to teach. I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? I appreciate what God has done for me. I'm going to teach. I'm going to go on and work for the Lord because He's done strengthened me and give me a little more. And that means something. It does. God knows when what you do is for what you can get and what you do is because what He has done. There's a difference. Folks are just, everybody stand up. Let's just thank Him in advance. But we don't thank Him for what He's already done. He'll bless us. We just barely escaped from a car accident. Somebody just miss us. And then we'll get an attitude. Honk our horn, crazy driver. And if we ain't careful, we'll cuss at them. Oh, hallelujah. And don't know God could have let you die right there in that accident. Your car don't have to be smashed down to the ground for you to die in it. You can just get hit the wrong way. And your head hit the windshield or your head hit the side window and it take you out of this planet. I've seen people walk away from crashes. You don't know how anybody could have survived in it. And then see cars look like they was barely messed up and somebody got killed in it. You just don't know. But God knows. And when you are faithful to him, he is faithful to you in return. He tells Abraham, if you go to the book of Ephesians chapter 1, I know his name is still Abram at this point, but just bear with me. In Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 3, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. I said Peter. It was Paul that said that. I got that wrong. It was Paul to the church at Ephesus. So he blessed Israel with natural blessings. He blessed us with spiritual blessings. As rich as Israel is in the natural things of this world, we have the ability to be that rich spiritually. We can be a blessing to people. We can help people that need help. If we want to be a blessing, the Bible said it is more blessed to give than to receive. Isn't that what it tells us? But how can you be a blessing to somebody when you're always looking for your blessing? You can't. You can't always be talking about gimme, 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 and then turn around and say, it's more blessed to give, but give me some more. We do God like that. We should be so spiritually blessed that we can be giving more to other people. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about of ourselves. We should have words of comfort for those who are struggling and going through things in life. We should. We should be able to uplift people who are struggling and can't seem to find their way. We should be able to do that. But you know why most of us can't? And I'm not talking about Christ Temple. I'm talking about the church at large. Do you know why most church people can't? Because we have bought into the lie of God's getting ready to give you something. That is nothing but a lie from the devil. God's done already gave it to us. He has. You don't have to worry about what you're going to get next. He said, Jesus said, take no thought. Does he say that? Amen. What's he say, brother? Take no thought for the morrow. Now I'm going to tell you what tomorrow has. It has enough evil in it to last throughout that day. You don't have to worry about it. I tell my wife that sometimes. She'll be worrying about something. I said, it ain't even happened yet. Why are you worrying about it? She said, I don't know. You worrying about something that haven't even happened. Some folks is worried about tomorrow and they ain't even here yet. Don't worry. Tomorrow got plenty of evil. It does. It's got plenty of bad waiting for you. You don't have to worry about it. Enjoy today. You don't have to worry about clothes. You don't have to worry about food. All you have to do is just keep serving the Lord. Now, I want to say something about what has happened with me to show you what I'm talking about. I can remember coming to church and being embarrassed because my shoes had holes in the bottom of them. We praying, and I'm up on the pulpit. We praying, and I'm trying to figure out a way to turn my feet sideways so nobody can look and see the holes in the bottom of my shoes. Because I didn't have better. It wasn't that I didn't want better. I couldn't afford better. Raggedy clothes. It wasn't the best. I didn't have holes in them, but there was thread. You could see my skin through the elbows of my shirt because I just couldn't afford no new shirts. And I was trying to take care of the ones I had. I don't have to worry about that now. And it's not because I'm out buying expensive clothes. I get my stuff from J.C. Penney's. And if Sears got a decent sale going on, I'll hit them up too. My point is this. See, people feel like they only blessed if God has given them a pair of $3,000 shoes. Or they're wearing the latest shark skin suit, 3-piece, tails hanging down past your knees, all of that. That's not, oh, they're wearing 3 pieces again. Yeah. I can remember when they first come in. Well, I can remember when I was a kid, everybody was wearing 3 pieces. They went out. Now they back in style again. Hey, man, that's the fat man suit. I'm going to stop. But that doesn't matter. I don't have holes in my elbows no more. I don't have different shirts. I'm still wearing Oxford shirts. They just don't have holes in them. I'm not buying more expensive shoes. I've got regular shoes. They just don't have holes in them. You think I'm not grateful? I get down right now and point my feet right at you. I ain't worried about it no more. Pay my $40 and get my shoes and go on about my business. We get mixed up thinking that if I don't have the finest, I haven't been blessed. Well, now the Lord told Abraham, let me get back, the clock is working against me. I will bless them that bless thee. Now I'm going to step out on a limb here because I don't have no Bible to prove this whatsoever. Our country is into some foolishness like nobody's business. You know what they're doing now? I just saw this. The folks are not putting a gender down on the birth certificate of their children. They'll say, when they get old enough, we'll let them decide what gender they want to be. We're getting into some crazy stuff. And I believe, now this is just my personal opinion. This is not scripture. I'm not saying that God told me this. This is just my opinion. I believe the only reason why God haven't done something to this country is because of how much we help Israel. He blesses us because we blessing them. We help them out. Now that's just me. Because the stuff that we're doing right now, I'm surprised God hasn't gotten angry and done some wiping out. Amen. He said, I will curse him that curseth thee. And God does that. Every country. Now, with the exception of Germany, think back of all the countries that have persecuted Israel, how many of them are still around? None of them. They're gone. Eventually, God wipes them out. You can't mess with his people and think that you're going to prosper. He doesn't do that. In thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Who came out of him that blessed all the families of the earth? Jesus. Jesus came through the lineage of Abraham. And now all the families of the earth are blessed because of him. Anybody that wants the Holy Ghost can get it. God doesn't say just Americans or just the Canadians or just the Mexicans, just those in Israel or just those in the Middle East, only the Chinese. He didn't do that. Any nationality, any financial status, cute or ugly, young or old, anybody can get the Holy Ghost. I got it. I ain't going to say what category I fit in. I'm just going to take my wife's word on it. Y'all don't know what she says. We have to be careful and allow God to make a name for us. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 6, he says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Too many folks is exalting themselves. Yes, ma'am. Verse number 6, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse number 6. I said this last week. Let's read a little bit about it. Carnal people can always manage to get themselves into trouble, but they don't know how to get themselves out of trouble. Always taking somebody else to help them out of trouble. Genesis chapter 13. Starting at verse number 7. And there was strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Now just stop for a moment. I want to bring out something here. It wasn't until Abraham was rich and Lot had a little money that they got to the point where they couldn't get along with each other. Their herdsmen couldn't. If you go back up in 13, verse number 1, and Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. So Abram leaves Egypt. Now, I want to show you how God blessed him. He was a little crooked. He did something bad. He tells his wife, when we get to Egypt, you're a beautiful woman. Did he lie? He said, tell him that you're my sister. And that way, if they want you, they won't kill me. He said, tell him you're my sister for my sake. Did he lie? He didn't lie. That was his half-sister. It was his half-sister. See, so I can see like folks is getting excited. Yeah, he was really cutting up. No, he didn't lie completely. He said, she's my sister. She was. He just left off, and my wife. That king, one of his servants, saw her. She's a good-looking woman. He went and got her and brought her to the king. And the Lord began to trouble him. The Lord troubled him and said he's going to kill him. He better return that man's wife. So he calls Abram and says, what is this you have done? Now remember this. He gave him a bunch of cattle as payment for this woman. The Lord punishes him, and he said, give her back. I don't want her. He said, the Lord is getting us for her sake. What have you done? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? He said, because I was scared y'all was going to kill me. He said, no, you hear, y'all need to go before one of my people lies with your wife and gets us all in trouble. Y'all need to leave. Now, let me tell you something he didn't do. He didn't take him to court and ask for all of his stuff back. You know what God did? God blessed him in the midst of him being a little sideways. He wasn't being completely honest, and yet God blessed him. You know why? Because he knew the man's heart. He knew Abraham was a faithful man. He knew Abraham was a man of faith. God knew that. The Bible says he staggered not at the promise. It didn't make him say, oh, no. He said, all right, if God said he can do it, he can do it. So God knew his heart, and Abraham still isn't where he needs to be, but God's still blessing him. Tells you something else too, that when God makes a promise, he keeps it. He told him, I'm going to make you rich. How did he do it? Sent him to Egypt. Brother went through a test, made the Egyptians pay him, and let him go. Got to keep all the cattle that they gave him. So much so that it says in verse 2, and Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Now, what does this say about Lot? It said Lot went with him. Now, we say Lot was rich. I've heard that my whole life. Like, oh, yeah, they was rich. The Bible don't say Lot was rich. He was blessed. But he was only blessed because he was hanging around Abraham. When Abraham left, Lot went with him. It wasn't Lot that came and said, hey, Abraham, we need to get out of here. This place isn't right. No, he's carnal. He's game for all of it. If wherever Abraham goes, that's where I'm going. All right. Verse 3, and he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. So now he's come full circle, back to where he started at before he went down to Egypt. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. It don't say he was rich. He just had some cattle. But now, this is how you can tell the difference between somebody spiritual and somebody carnal. Somebody carnal, you give them a little bit, they think they got something going on. Do you think that these herdsmen were fighting with each other and wasn't getting some pointers from Brother Lot himself? Lot wanted some good stuff. Carnal people, they'll get a car. Now, you've been riding them around for a long time. You've been hauling them back and forth. All of a sudden, a door opens up. They get a car, and it's like, hey, man, can you come and pick me up? I really don't like people getting in my car like that. I mean, it's no problem, but I don't like dirt on the floor of my car. It's kind of, I take good care of it. Now they're getting funny acting. When it was your car, they get up and they throw their McDonald's wrappers in the back seat. Now it's their car. Don't know if I can pick you up. That's the way carnal people will do. Spiritual people will take what God gives them and use it to be an even bigger blessing to God's people. And I'm not saying give away all your stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. But God bless me with a new car and you need a ride. Hey, man, come on. If I ain't got nothing but a raggedy car, if I'm heading to church, you can ride with me. But some folks give them a new car. You going to church tonight? Well, I was thinking about it. I know somebody right now that backslid because they got a car. Oh, yes. And here, this is what he told me. He said, man, this car looks too nice to not let people see it. I said, but you ain't coming to church. He said, yeah, but man, this car looks good. And I want people to see my car. And let me tell you something. It was a nice car. Carried him right on out to church. And to my knowledge, he ain't never been back. That's what carnal-minded people will do. They will take what they get and use it to try to be better, to be more than what they are. Bible said, humble yourself. All right. Verse 6, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzites dwelt in the land. And Abram said to Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Now, we're right back where we just left off. And here's the thing. The Bible says, Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. Doesn't he? Look at what the spiritual person is doing. I don't want there to be no friction between me and you. I don't want there to be any friction between my workers and your workers. Let's separate so that there's no problem between us. You see what he's doing? He's making peace. You think Brother Lot came and asked for that? Nope. Lot ain't said nothing. It was Abram. Abram that said, there's a problem. Our men are not getting along with each other. We're brethren. Why should we fight? So what does he do? Verse 9, is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou wilt go to the right hand, then I will go to the left. Now, this is the mark of a true peacemaker and someone that's spiritual. What is it going to take to make this situation right? If you want me to do this, then I'll do that. Too many of us has got the attitude of, I ain't done nothing to you in the first place. What you looking at me funny for? Oh, now y'all want to get quiet. Abram said, I'll take the leftovers. If that's what it takes for us to have peace between me and you and our employees, I'll take what's left. Now, don't forget, Abram was the rich one. Lot was the wannabe. Verse 10, and Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld the plain of Jordan. It was well watered everywhere. Before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest to Zoar. He looked and saw what he thought was an even bigger blessing. Look, Uncle Abram, you already got rich. You got money everywhere, a lot of cattle, whole bunch of servants. Give me a chance to get mine. This is what he's doing. You know why? Because he's carnal minded. All he's interested in is what I can get. Worldly things. I want what I want. Verse 11, then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves one from the other. And Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Now, we know what happened with Sodom, right? Now consider this. Does anybody know where Sodom and Gomorrah is right now? If you had a map, could you point it out? If you could, you're doing better than most historians, archaeologists, or geologists, because they have no idea where it was. It was utterly destroyed. You wouldn't. But you know what? Lot thought he was getting something, didn't he? Does anybody know where Israel is? Yeah, it's still here. Little bitty pinprick of a country. It is so narrow that the prime minister, I think he's a prime minister, he was a general in their army, Benjamin Netanyahu, said that he used to get up every day and run from one side of Israel to the shore. It was only like 9 miles wide, and he would run 9 miles every day. The width of the country. They're surrounded, hugely surrounded by other Arab countries that want to destroy them. They still here. You know why? Because God keeps his word. You think they don't want to get rid of Israel? They'd love to get rid of them, but they can't do it. They've tried. They tried to get rid of them. Here's what they did. Jordan, Syria, some of the other countries around there told the Palestinians, if you attack them, we'll support you. Take their country from them. Take what you want, and we'll support you. The Palestinians said, yes, let's attack. And let's wait until Saturday. Let's wait till the Sabbath day. That'll give us an advantage because they can't fight. So they attacked them on the Sabbath day. 6 days later, they lost some of the country that they already owned. That's what they're fighting for right now. They want some of that land back. They lost it. The Palestinians did. They attacked them on the Sabbath day and thought they was going to whip them. Got whipped so bad that in 6 days, not only had they lost the war, they had lost some of the territory that they already owned. You know why? Because God keeps his promises. And it doesn't matter how overwhelming, time. Doesn't matter how overwhelming the odds seem. If God says he's going to do something, he'll do it. Now, you know what he said? It is not my will that any should perish. There's not a reason why any person should have to go to hell. Not one. Because it's not his will. That's not what he wants. He told us, I blessed you with all spiritual blessings. He told us he has given us everything that we need that pertains to life and godliness. Everything that we need. There's no reason any of us should not make it. None. You know why? If we don't, you know why? Because we stepped outside the blessing. We stepped outside the will of God. So if you go back and you read Genesis 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, you'll see how God worked over and over and over on their behalf. And if you go back and look at your life, you will see how God has worked over and over and over. You know the song we used to sing, Count Your Blessings, name them one by one, count your many blessings, see what God has done. Yeah, I think many of us have problems in our life because we don't take the time to stop and count what God has really done for us. We should be the happiest people on earth. We got something that everybody else wants. They just don't even know how to look for it. Amen. You know what we have? We have righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. We have that. We ought to. Amen. We ought to have it. If we don't, it's because we ain't looking for it. But you stop and you start counting up what God has done, it'll change you. And don't worry about those that's hanging on. Those that's just trying to ride on your coattail, let them. When God's ready, he'll separate you. Amen. You know, listen, I'll tell you something that Lot did. He was an honorable man, a man of integrity. And he allowed his nephew to ride along with him for a long time. And it wasn't until their employees started to fight each other that they got separated. And what happened shortly after that? Lot and all that he had was captured, along with the king of Sodom and Gomorrah and the other cities, Zoar and Admah. All of them cities, they captured, somebody came in and captured all of them. And what happened? Lot was not able to get himself out of trouble once again. And Abraham took all of his household and his soldiers with him. I think it was 300 and some men, went and got them and brought them all back. Now, all this time, the king of Sodom, he said, boo to Abram. When he gets and rescues him, all of a sudden, let's make a covenant between me and thee. He said, I've already determined, I've already lifted up my hands to the God of heaven and earth, that I will not take one shoe latchet from you, so that when I am blessed, you'll say, I have blessed him. See, sometimes folks is offering you stuff just so they can say, I did it for you. You don't have to take everything somebody's given. Just because somebody's trying to do something good for you don't mean they're trying to do it for your good. Sometimes you just need to say, no. I want God to bless me. Amen. Somebody out gambling and stealing and cheating, selling drugs, and hey man, what you gonna do with all that money? You got so much. Can't you give me some? I made up my. I wouldn't take no money from a drug dealer. I wouldn't do it. You out getting your money by hurting other people? I don't want none of your money. I'd rather keep what God has given me. I'll let him bless me. Amen? Amen. All right. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, it's found in the book of book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter number 16, verse 49 through 50. The 7 things were pride, fullness of bread, an abundance of idleness, she did not strengthen the hands of the poor and needy, she was haughty, and she committed the abomination. And the abomination that's used here, the word that's used here for abomination, is the exact same word that's used in the book of Leviticus, where it says, if a man lies with man like he does womankind, it shall be an abomination. It's the same word. So the abomination that he's talking about here is talking about homosexuality. So those are the 7 things, the 7 reasons why. They were pretty wicked people. Amen. Yes, ma'am. It's chapter 16, 49 and 50. Anything else? All right, stand on your feet.